you, David. Shalom, good evening, dear Mayor, Sema, rabbis, friends and guests. It is an honor to be here this evening. We have gathered here at the Portugese Synagoge to honor and remember the 6 million Jews that were murdered during the Shoah. Looking around at this beautiful synagogue, we can tell how much history it already went through back in the 1600s to the early 1800s. An immense immigration of Jews emigrated from the Iberian Peninsula to Amsterdam. And why? Because Amsterdam offered them something that they had not had before for many years: freedom of religion. However, unfortunately, that freedom would not last forever. During the Second World War, the Holocaust, we Jews were faced with the atrocities of the Nazis. The Holocaust, as we all know and agree, is the worst genocide in human history. It did not matter whether you were rich or poor, male or female, old or young. The only thing that mattered was that you were Jewish. Ladies and gentlemen, my father, Ephraim, was one of the 50,000 Bulgarian Jews who were rescued due to the decision of Christian religious leaders, parliamentarians, and the Bulgarian King Boris not to have the Jews deported. This story became subject of a book, The Trains Left Empty, which I highly recommend to everyone. But the history of my mother was different. My mother, Ruth, she was from Chernovitz, Bukovina in Romania, and she had to flee from place to place and constantly move to each place, different places in Romania, in order not to get caught by the Nazis. 300,000 Romanian Jews were murdered during the Shoah. Among them also my grandfather, Avner, Zichrono Livracha. After the war, my mother and my grandmother, fortunately, managed to escape to Israel by boat. Coming back here to the Netherlands, it has been estimated that before the war, the Netherlands has around 140,000 Jews. During the Shoah, 3/4 of the Dutch Jewish population was murdered, and most of the Jewish communities ceased to exist. The Nazis tried to wipe out generation after generation of Jews till there will be no future left for us. But fortunately, they did not succeed. They failed in the plan to have us eradicated, and we rose up and rebuilt our communities here in the Netherlands, in Israel, and all over Europe, which today, Israel also become a safe haven for all of us. One of the main reasons why the Nazis did not succeed in their plan is due to courageous citizens that did not turn their backs on their morals and values and decided to do the righteous task of hiding and saving Jewish people. Together with Yad Vashem, Mr. Simon that is here, the State of Israel honors this righteous among the nations, and I have the unique task of handing over the medal and certificate to these families all across the Netherlands. Last month in Almelo, we witnessed the first-hand story of the rescued person recounting how during the war he was hidden for 3 years right next to a school where German soldiers stayed in barracks. During a ceremony a few weeks ago in Epe, we honored a revenant and his wife were very outspoken to their fellow church members about the dismay towards the Nazis. The rescue person took me after the event in the church to the place deep into the forest where he showed me the place he and his father were hiding to escape death. Recently, the hiding place is being dug up again and family objects are being rediscovered. During these Yad Vashem ceremonies, it is always very special for me to see that the rescued families now have children and grandchildren, and many of them living now in Israel. Remembering the Shoah is not just about the past. It is also about the present and the future. The lessons of the Holocaust are as relevant today as they were back then. Injustice, hate, intolerance, and anti-Semitism are issues we need to stand all of us united against and be vocal about it. Our youngest generation might be the last to meet survivors and hear their painful stories, and we need to make sure that the future generation will pass on their stories, their values, and their beliefs. As a son of Holocaust survivor, as a father, and as an Israeli ambassador, I ask myself, have we managed to create a safe and just world for our kids to grow up in? Can we say now with full confidence that what happened will never happen again? I'm not sure about the answer, but I'm sure we should do everything to build a world that is more accepting, secure, and free. This is, I think, the best way to honor the legacy of the victims. May the memory of the victims be a blessing. Yehi Zechram Baruch. Thank you very much. Toda Rabba.